Okay, so what is metadata? So see, whenever we try to use a link, right? Whenever we try to paste a link, let's say you use WhatsApp, right? Whenever you try to paste the link, there's some information visible near to the link, right? So that link will be, that information is nothing but the metadata. Okay, so whatever metadata we would like to add, we will add inside the
Sorry to
head part
interrupt.
of the
Ashwin,
HTML. Yeah,
is the
yeah.
slide, are you presenting something?
No, no, no.
Okay, okay.
Just paused it
Sorry.
first.
Yes, go on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's metadata. Okay, so okay, so moving on, let's go to the coding part. So those of you who has created the online account in REPL, so you can create a HTML and say a file over here. Okay, so I will just demonstrate how to create one, and then let's move on to the coding part. So REPL over here is an online editor where we can choose any sort of our language preference, and we can code as well as you practically see what happens inside the website. Okay, so after choosing HTML and CSS, JS, you can give your name over here. Let's say we have front end marathon, and then you can create the REPL. Okay, so I have created it already. So let me move on to the coding part. Okay, so is the screen visible, guys?
Yeah, it's legible.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay,
Yes.
so as we discussed before, the first element that we start with is a doc type HTML. Okay, so whenever we declare HTML files, we use this to denote that we are using HTML5 version 5. Okay, this will be followed by the HTML tag and followed by the head tag. Okay, so this is the coding part, and this will be the uh, output part. So let me show you this title. Okay, so as you can see, we have mentioned front end marathon as the title over here, right? So the output part you can press over here so that it will open in the new tab. So as you can see over here, we have front end marathon, right? Is it visible?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Yes. So that's how we give a title to a website. Okay. So even if you want to include your own image over here, we call that an icon that will go inside this head part only. Okay. So we'll do that later. Moving on. Let's start with uh, heading tags. Okay. So in heading tags, we have around six tags, which will be for each and every tag. We'll have a less and less size. Okay, so as you can see over here, the first text that is displayed over here is welcome to front end marathon, right? So this is taken care of the h1 tag. So the h1 tag is the title that any title that we have in a website, this will be uh, used over here. Okay, and let's start with headings is there over here, right? So as you can see, the size comparison, the font size comparison is differing for each heading, right? So that's because whenever we have to create a subheading and another subheading 2, subheading 3, we use this h1 till h6 tags. Okay, we don't have beyond that. We just have 6 type of tags: h1, h2, h3, h4, h5, and h6. Okay, so to demonstrate this, I've given over here. Okay, as you can see, the size keeps on decreasing for each tag, right? So
Ashwin, someone wants to know what is the HR tag. Can you?
yeah, I'm coming to that. So as you can see over here, there's a uh, horizontal line over here, right? So to declare this horizontal line, we use something called HR tag. Okay, Now compared to the heading tags, the HR tag is quite different. So what's special over here is we don't have a closing tag. So we don't have to put uh, a closing tag like this. Okay, that's not necessary because HR tag is a self closing tag. Okay, so there are a couple of self closing tags in HTML as other than HR. So we'll look into that later as well. Okay, so there are two lines over here, right? So for that, each of the line I have provided the HR tags. So moving on, other than headings, we would like to present some information over the websites, right? So that's where we use p tags. So p tags are nothing but paragraph tags. So whatever paragraph you would like to include in your website, you will enclose this and wrap this within this p tag. Okay. So as you can see in the output over here as well, I have given this is a paragraph tag as the content for this p paragraph tag element. Okay. And now if you would like to provide some font, text, we call it as text decoration. Okay. So in this line, if you can see, this word is emphasized with italics, right? When we use Word documents, we will give a bold, italic, and underline to this text in the Word documents, right? So in HTML, we do it in a different way. Okay. So to emphasize or to give italic style to the text, we use something called em tag. Okay. Em stands for emphasize. Okay. So as I have given the word inside this em element, that's why it's displayed as an italic tag. Okay. So if you would like to try to bold any element, we would use something called strong element. Okay. So I'll show you guys how we have to give a bold to this paragraph. Okay. So I will try to emphasize, I will tell to change this word into a bold word. Okay. So I have provided strong tags for that to achieve. Okay. So let me run it. And as you can see, the text is converted into a bold text, right? So we can give this a type of text decorations using a couple of HTML tags. Okay. So moving on. Okay. So when it comes to content, let's say if we want to give a bullets to the content, right? So whenever we write to create a presentations, we have bullet points, right? So to have that inside in our HTML code, we use something called ordered and unordered list. Okay. So an ordered list is nothing but uh, a list where the bulleting points are numbered. Okay. So as you can see over here, the following is an ordered list. So I have highlighted over here, right? So to include that in your HTML code, what we have to do, we have to wrap it inside something called OL. So OL stands for ordered list. Okay. So inside OL element, we add the list items. Okay. Let's say we want to add our own content, right? So can anyone tell me any one of your favorite Avengers characters? Anyone?
Iron Man.
Iron Man. Iron Man fans here? Oh, okay, Thor. Okay, nice. Scarlet Witch.
Captain America.
You have a good list, Ashwin.
Yeah. Okay, sure. I cannot miss Captain America. Okay, so I given here 3 list items. Okay, this to create to add more and more list items to the ordered list, we use this li tag. Okay, this li stands for list. Okay, so for each and every list item, we have to create a separate li tag. Okay. So as you can see, now the content is changed to your favorite Avengers characters. Okay. All right. So other than ordered list, we also have unordered list. Okay. For unordered list, it will be just bulleting points. Okay. And for unordered list, we use a tag called UL. Okay. UL stands for unordered list. Okay. So so right now, can anyone tell me your favorite food? Let's see what we get.
Pizza.
Okay.
Okay, we have momos also. Okay,
Pizza, burger.
I am a little
Okay.
partial to momos also. Also, someone's asking, Ashwin, what is the
Lechha bread.
LI tag? LI tag, can you explain that, I guess, once again?
Okay. So in a list, okay, in an unordered or ordered list, we have to add some words, right? So if you can see over here, Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America are nothing but list items, right? So this list items should be declared inside this li tag. Li stands for list items. Okay. So that's what it is. So this entire element is called list item. So we use this list tags to wrap the list items inside this inside as a content. Okay. Okay. So did we get another food other than pizza and momos?
Yes, we got jalebi, we got wine, we got
Wine.
yes, we got jalebi fafda, which is, I guess, Jethalal in the crowd.
Literal.
And we got Kaju Katli
Kerala
from
bread.
Anmol.
Okay. Okay. So I've run this one. So as you can see over here, the list is changed, right? So that's how we add list items. If you want to add more and more, we have to provide this li tag. Okay. So that's why we use it. Let's say we have those. So that's how we declare list items for unordered as well as ordered list. Okay. So moving on, we'll talk about division tags. Okay. So this will be very important for you throughout your front end development. So I would request you all to have kind attention over here. Okay. So division tags are nothing but these tags are used to form a container in a website. Okay. So as you can see over here, I have wrapped this entire section of text inside this div tag, right? So whenever you want to add stylistic properties to this, let's say this entire section of the text we use, so we use this div tag so that we can wrap it inside this element, right? So over here, I have created two division tags. Okay, one is this one and another is this one, right? So let me show you the screen over here. Just a second. Yes. So this is where I have used two division tags. Okay. So a section of grouped elements is one division tag from here to here, and a second section over from here to here, right? So now let me show you some developer tools that you can use inside a Chrome browser. Okay. So everyone watch this also carefully. So when we right click on this browser, we have something called inspect, right? So when you try to inspect this website, what happens is we can see the code over here as well. Okay. So Google Chrome provides us with this developer option so that we can highlight. See, we can highlight and check our elements and tags over here. See, we have the first heading, second heading, followed by the other headings, right? So this is the division tag that we have created, right? So as you can see, when I try to choose and highlight over this tag, it is grouped inside as a single container, right? So this is useful a lot in future, where we will where we try to build complex code in HTML as well as CSS and JavaScript. It will be very helpful to wrap it inside one single container. Okay, that's why we use div tags. Okay, so moving on. Let's say we have a big paragraph, right? So when we have a bigger paragraph, so what happens is the HTML will not take your the white spaces into account. Okay, let's say let's take on my coding example, right? I've used a lot of enters so that I can separate out this content, right? But in HTML, whenever you want to break the sentence and move on to the next one, like here, we have to declare a tag called break tag. Okay, so this break tag, as you can see over here, is another self-closing tag. Okay, so if you can see inside this paragraph, I use two break tags called BR. Okay, so these tags, what it will do, this will break this sentence and move on to the next line. Okay, so to prove it to you guys, I'll just remove this two tags. Okay, just run it for you and see how the text is displayed. Okay, as you can see, all of them are displayed over in one line. Even though I have separated it out inside this HTML file, this is not displayed over here as the same amount of text, right? So to break that, we use something called BR tag. Okay, so if I run it again, you can see we have a break for each and every sentence, right? So that's why we use break tags. So now
Bhaiya,
moving on, let's have
can you once again please explain the division tag?
division tag. Okay, sure. So whenever you want to wrap multiple elements, okay, so you are clear with this concept, right? So whatever
Yeah.
tags that you start and end, we call it as an element, right? So this is a H2 element, this is a heading 2 element, right? And this is a paragraph element, right? So whenever you would like to, let's say we are going to discuss about CSS as well, right? So whenever you want to apply stylistic features or something like that for this set of this set of elements, we use this division tags. Okay, we use this division tag so that we can wrap all of them into a single container. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay, did you get it? Is it clear now? Division tag.
हेलो भैया।
Yeah.
ये ऊपर का सेंटेंस क्यों दिख रहा है मेन स्क्रीन में? द फॉलोइंग यूजेस डिवीजन टैग, इसका कोई ओपनिंग और क्लोजिंग टैग नहीं है।
Yeah. So even though if you don't mention this, right? So I didn't mention that it is a paragraph or a heading, right? So what happens is it will just display it as a text inside this HTML. Okay, so we have to declare inside this paragraph tag because it is the standard we should follow. Okay, so thanks for pointing that out. It's a good one. Okay. If I run this again, as you can see, it will be displayed. So whether you are saying that it is a paragraph or just as a plain text, the HTML file will be displayed on the website. Okay, whereas we shouldn't leave such text open like you said. Okay, I missed that paragraph tag by mistake. If we don't add that by convention, it is not good. Okay, we are not following the standard. So it's always best practice to wrap it inside any type of tags inside the HTML file. Okay, Okay, let's move on to the images part. Okay, so let's say I want to add this image over here. Okay, before adding an image, if we want to add some comments to our code, okay, let's say we are coding a really big website and we have to kind of add some comments so that this is doing this part, right? So as you can see over here, I have mentioned a lot of comments as a code over here, right? So the following is following uses division tags, the following is are not a list. So these are nothing but sort of comments that I used in my code so that I can understand what I'm doing, right? So we use comments to do such things only. Okay, so comments will start with an angular bracket followed by an exclamation mark and two hyphens. Okay, and inside this we will provide the comment of our content. Okay, after that we'll close it with two hyphens followed by closed angular bracket. Okay, so this is a comment in HTML. Moving on, as you can see here, I have used a HTML logo as an image, right? So an image tag is also another self-closing tag. So you don't need to put another tag like this so that it should be closed like this. Okay, you don't need to put that. So image tag in HTML is also another self-closing tag. Okay, so whenever you're trying to add an image to your website, we have something called attributes to this image tag, right? So this is another new concept. Okay, so inside this image tag, we have two attributes. One is src and another is width, right? So src is nothing but source. So where is the source of the image that you are going to present? So that's what I've provided over here. I've provided a link. I'll show it to you what the link has. Okay, if we can see this link provides this image. Okay, so I've used this image inside this image tag. Okay, I've used this link as the source so that it will display our image. And as you can see that image, it's really big, right? Just a second. As you can see this image is looking really big, right? So to control that size of the image, we use something called width over here, right? So if I remove this width, see what will happen. See, the image is so big that it is displaying as such, right? We have to scroll all the way to the right and left so that we have to view this image, right? So in order to control the size of the image, we use something called width and height attributes. Okay, so I have used over here the width attribute. Just a second. Okay, so I have given 400 pixels. Okay, so this is a CSS property, and I'll come back to that when we go to the CSS part. Okay, so for now you understand that I have reduced this image to 400 pixels. Okay, 400 pixels in width, and height is automatically adjusted along with the corresponding width. Okay, so that's how we add our images to our website. Okay, so moving on, now we have anchor tags. Okay, so HTML stands for hypertext, right? So that's what we discussed, right? We have this lots of links present over in any popular websites, right? Let's say we have Amazon, Netflix. So each and every website like that, what it will have a lot of links provided to this, right? So we provide this link through this tag called anchor tag. Okay, so to use an anchor tag, we declare it as a in HTML. Okay, starting a followed by attributes that we use and a closing tag. Okay, and again we have attributes that is provided inside this anchor tag, right? So just like you have given the source for this image tag is there, no? You have, provide this source as this link, right? Similarly, when you click this link, it will go to Google. Okay. So to provide that link, I've given this inside this attribute called href. So href is nothing but hyperreference. Okay. So that whenever I click this this link over here, as you can see, the cursor is turning into a pointer, right? So it will it will go to that website. Okay. So another attribute that I have provided over here is target. Okay. And inside this target, I have provided the value blank. Why? Because whenever I click this link, it will open in a new tab. So if I click this, for example, as you can see, it went to google.com, right? So to open in a new tab, we have to provide the target as underscore blank. Okay. So if I remove this, and show you guys, if I click this here, sorry, I have to run it. Okay, if I run it, save it once again. Okay. So when I click this, what will happen? It will try to open over here only. See, it has crashed because of that. So in order to avoid that and open in a new tab, we provide something called target. Okay. We provide target, and inside that we provide the value as underscore blank, so that it will open inside a new tab. Okay. So if I check that again, yeah. So as you can see, it opened in a new tab, right? So that's why we provide target attribute inside anchor tags. Okay. So till now, so anyone have any doubts regarding heading, paragraph, division tags, list tags? We have discussed about break tags. We have discussed about image tags and anchor tags.
Ashwin, there are some doubts in the chat, so I'll read out a couple of them right now. The rest we can take towards the end of the session.
Okay, sure.
Is that fine?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, someone's asking about why do we use the A tag?
Okay, so A tag is nothing but anchor tags. That's what we discussed, right? So whenever we want to provide link inside a website, we use anchor tags. So anchor in short for A is used inside this HTML. Okay. So A stands for anchor over here.
Okay, so next question is it underscore blank a reserved word in HTML? Target underscore blank.
See, HTML is not a programming language, right? It's just a markup language. So we cannot say it is a reserved word. Underscore blank is nothing but a value we provide inside an attribute. Okay. For example, I have provided here 400 px, right? Px stands for pixel over here inside this width attribute. Similarly, it's just a value that we provide inside this target. That's all.
Okay. One of the last questions, just like we've used blank for the target attribute, we can use other things as well, right? That's the
Yeah,
question.
sure. We can
What
use.
other things? Can you like give one example? Any other thing that we can use?
So I can search it in directly.
Yes.
Okay. So whenever you have this doubts, right? Whenever you have doubts like this, always try to use Google. Okay, Google provides you with lots of good resources so that you can directly clear this doubts. Okay. So as you can see over here, we have a couple of other values for target as well. We have underscore self, underscore parent, and underscore top, right? So as you can see, when we provide underscore self, this opens the link document in the same frame as it was clicked. Okay. So this is default. So as I shown you before, without providing target, what happens is the Google tries to open on the same website, right? So if you provide self underscore self as well, it will do the same thing. So this is used by default by the HTML. If you don't provide any target value, it will be used by default. And underscore parent and underscore top are nothing but it will be displayed in a parent frame or full body of the window. So these are some somewhat like
Yes,
outdated
sir.
concepts. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Also, one warning to just Kiran, please do not spam. If you do it once again, unfortunately, I will have to remove you from the meeting. Please do not create disruption where everyone's trying to learn. Thank you. Ashwin, you can continue.
Okay. So moving on, let's talk about table tags we have in HTML. Okay. Whenever we want to create tables inside HTML, uh, we have to use a couple of important tags. So before moving on to the coding part, let's go back to the presentation. Okay, just a second. So is the presentation visible, guys?
Yes, Ashwin.
Okay, good. So whenever we want to create tables inside HTML, okay, what we do, we have a separate set of tags that we should use to create a table. Okay, so just like we have a HTML, when whatever elements we use till now inside this coding part, if you can see, all are wrapped under one element, right? That element is HTML. Similarly, whatever we are trying to create a table, we have to declare inside this table tag. Okay. So inside this table tag, we can use t head, t body, tr, tt, and t4. Okay. So you'll understand more when we go into the coding part. So I'll just brush up what are these tags in a separate way. Okay. So t head is nothing but table head. Okay. So whenever we have the title of the rows and columns, right? So for each column, you'll have each title, right? Let's say we have a table for the food and the food items, right? So we provide the title on the top of the column, right? So we can do that using this t head tag, okay, and followed by t body. So what you can see over here in this image, this is entirely declared inside this t body, okay, and all are
Ashwin, sorry to interrupt. We are actually almost done with 45 minutes. So what I was suggesting is let's not try to cover everything today all at once,
okay.
right? So maybe you can start off with CSS today,
Yes, yes,
and maybe stuff we can take it up tomorrow, right?
yeah, yeah,
Maybe
sure.
today you can take 10 minutes extra. I hope everyone is fine with that. Please kindly respond in the chat if we take 10 to 15 minutes extra today. Is that okay? Yes, okay. All right. So, Ashwin, you can start off with maybe wind up HTML in a couple of minutes and then head over to CSS. Oh, you were already
Okay,
going to start. Okay,
yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
sure.
maybe for Bootstrap, we can save some time tomorrow. Okay?
Okay, cool, cool.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ashwin.
Okay, so let's discuss about CSS now. Okay, so CSS stands for cascading style sheets. Okay, so cascading means one, it is like a flow. Okay, let's say when we have a waterfall, we will try to uh, objectify that as a cascading flow. Okay, similarly, we'll
So
have
sorry to interrupt again. Some
yeah,
people are requesting you to finish up with table that you were explaining in
table.
HTML.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what I will do, actually, when we try to code the table part, right, we have to provide some borders to the table. For that, we need some CSS part. That's why I came back to the presentation. Okay, so let's discuss this the basic CSS, and after that, we'll go back. Okay, don't worry. Okay, so inside a CSS, we have uh, something called selectors. Okay, so the selectors are nothing but whatever element we have to provide style, we call that as selector. So over here, the P is the selector over here. We have, when we want to add some styles to the paragraph, we use P over here. Or whenever we want to add style over the image, we have to provide img over here. Okay, that's called selector. And inside this declaration part, we have to put it inside curly brackets. Okay, so inside this curly brackets, we have to use property followed by value. Okay, so the property over here in this example is color, and the value is red. So that's how every CSS will look like. Okay, now there are three types of CSS. One is inline. So when we saw that image example, right, we used something called width and 400 pixels. So that was nothing but inline CSS. Okay, so that's one type of CSS, and another one is internal CSS. So when we try to kind of separate it inside the HTML code file itself. We will create some style tag inside the head tag. Okay, so that is internal CSS. So we'll look at an example over that also. And we also have external CSS. When we have to have a separate file where we have the entire CSS part, we call that as external CSS. Okay, so let's go back to the coding part where we were using this. We are about to see this table, right? Okay. So as you can see, this is an example of a simple table over here. So in this table, we have the table header, right? Inside this table header, I've provided the table row. So whenever we want to create a row inside this table, we have to declare it inside tr. Tr is nothing but table row. Okay. So I've provided here two headings, bunch of row elements called table data elements, and followed by a table footer. Okay. Now, as you can see, there is no border for this HTML part, right? So that's where we have to use CSS. Okay. So I will just show you the internal CSS inside the HTML file. Okay. I'll show that example. So we provided this way style where we provide the border for table, th, and td elements with border of 1 pixel solid black. Okay. So when I run this, you will see there is a border applied to this table, as you can see over here neatly, right? So that's what a CSS provides us with. Okay, it provides us with the styling part of the website. Okay, so moving on, let's go. Let's say we want to have external CSS. Okay, so whenever we want to create an external file, let's say style.css, we have to link it to the HTML file, right? So to link it inside the HTML file, you will use something called link tag. Okay, so inside this link tag, you'll provide the HTML name. Okay, just a second. Have it over here. Yeah. Okay. So if we want to link this style file that we have separately for this website, we have to provide the h reference, similar to how what we did for the anchor tag, right? Where we provided this link, we have to provide the name of the CSS file followed with the extension, and that rel is nothing but relation. What is the relation of the this one CSS file? So it is a style sheet. As CSS stands for as cascading style sheet, we are providing this as style sheet, and the type of the file will be text/CSS. So that's what we are providing over here. So when we use this, we can add our stylings to our style.css file over here. Okay. So when I click run, what will happen is a bunch of style will be provided over here, right? So we'll go back to this style.css file. So as you can see over here, I have selected the h1 tag. So this h1 tag is nothing but the first tag that we have over here and over here, and I have provided the color as green. Okay, so that's why each and every h1 tag that we have declared here is in green in color. Okay, and every other h2, h3, h4, h5, h6, like when we have to select a more than one type of tags, we use this comma inside in the selector part, followed by the property and value. Okay, so I've used color red for this. Let's say if we want to change it to blue, and run this, it will be changed to blue. Okay, so okay, so previously we were providing this border using this inline style internal styling, right? So now I have provided it separately over here. So if I try to comment this out, so okay, in CSS we comment it using star slash and star slash star. Okay. So this is how we comment code inside CSS. Okay, CSS files. So if I comment the table stylings, as you can see, it is disappeared, right? So if I remove this comments and try it again, it will come back, as you can see. So that's how we select each and every tag inside this CSS part, and we provide the property as well as the value. Okay. So till now, do you have any doubts in CSS part? CSS, and I think we have touched inside table as well. Any doubts in table and CSS?
They are responding no in the chat. It was so good.
Just a second.
Ashwin, there is a question that what are PX and VW? What do they stand for?
PX.
PX and VW. I read that, yes. Have you used that somewhere?
No. What is VW?
I don't see it myself, but
Okay.
there is a
So
question.
PX is nothing but a pixel. Okay. So we'll discuss about box model right now. Just a second.
Okay, so there are two more questions. Ashwin, can you just quickly cover them?
Yeah, sure.
Someone's asking href. Can you just explain it again in short once again?
Href. So href is nothing
And the
but
TR
hyper
tag.
reference. Okay. TR. Okay. Okay, fine. So in this link we have provided inside this website, we use anchor tag, right? A tag. A is nothing but anchor tag. So if we have to provide the link to where we have to navigate, we have to provide the value of the link inside this href attribute. Okay, href is an attribute that we use inside a couple of tags. One is anchor tag, and another, as you can see, we have used over here as well to link the CSS style sheet inside this HTML part. We have to link inside this head tag. Okay, so that's where I have also used href. Href is nothing but hyper reference to where the file or data is located. Okay, and the tables can be really confusing as we are using a couple of tags, but I'll just follow it carefully. Whenever we have to create row elements, right? So if you can see here, call 1 and call 2, nothing but column 1 and column 2. These are rows, right? This is row 1, row 2, and row 3. And even the heading and heading 2 is also a row, and also at the bottom. So every one of this data is a row, right? So TR is nothing but table row. So whatever we have to provide inside this table, we have to wrap it inside table row. Okay, even for head as well as the body of the tables. Okay, so as you can see over here, for the heading part, we have used TR followed by TH. TH is nothing but table head, and as over here in the table body, we have used TD, right? So we have wrapped it inside this TR tag. I hope that is clear now, right? Okay, so moving on, let's discuss about box model. I think we are around about to end the session, right? I think, right? Okay.
You can take
So
some time, Ashwin. You can take another 10-15 minutes. Then
okay,
the
sure.
remaining we can continue tomorrow. No rush.
Okay. So whenever we try to place our text and images properly in our website, right? We have something called margin, border, and padding. Okay. So this is nothing but a box model inside inside HTML and CSS. Okay. So just a second, I'll show you guys. Yeah. Okay. So as you can remember, I used right click and followed by inspect, right? So that's how we can use developer tools inside Google Chrome. Okay, another way to do it, we can go to this 3 dots over here and go to more tools and developer tools. Okay, so inside this developer tools, what we have is we have the HTML part over here and CSS part over here as well. Okay, as you can see. So if I refresh this, the styling part will be applied over here, right? So let's choose the division tag that we declared earlier. Okay, let's choose division tag over here. Okay, so when I click this division tag, as you can see, Google Chrome also provides this box model for us, right? So let's say if we want to add properties inside this Google Chrome itself, we can use this over here. Just a second. Okay, so as you can see, we have some spacing over here, right? So this is called margin. Okay, the outermost part of our box model is nothing but margin. Okay, so whatever the space we want to provide over the outskirts of any content, you have to provide margin as how much ever space that you want to give. Okay, so I've used px over here. Px stands for pixels. Okay, so it's a measurement that we can give for the amount of space that we are giving over here. Okay, so inside this box model, we have 4 corners, right? Top, right, bottom, and left. So whenever we are trying to give only top and bottom, we have to either provide it explicitly. For example, margin top, like this. So as you can see, only the top part of the division tag will be applied with 10 pixels. Similarly, we have margin bottom, right, where only the bottom part is available. So, or if you want to create everything inside one single line, we can go like margin 10 pixels followed by 5 pixels. Okay, so as you can see, now only the top and bottom part is applied with 10 pixels, because this is how it is declared. Okay, as there are top, right, bottom, and left, we have to follow the order properly. So when I use 10 pixels and 5 pixels, it got repeated itself. And it is applied like this. Okay, so it is similar to what I give this way. Okay, if I give 10 pixels, 5 pixels, 10 pixels, and 5 pixels again, so it will be applied in such a way that we have 10 pixels at the top of the division tag and at the bottom of the division tag, followed by 5 pixels on the left and right. Okay, so that's how we applied margin to the type of margin we have covered, margin of the box model. Okay, now we have border, right? We have something called border. So we can use this developer tools really well, so that if we refresh this, it won't be saved. Okay, so whenever you want to test our websites directly, we can use this so that it will be useful for developers. Okay, so let's say we want to apply border for only this part of the division tag. Okay, that we have selected. As you can see, let's using this button over here, we can select the division part, or we can use this HTML part directly. Okay, so whenever you select that and add CSS properties over here, let's say we have 1 pixel and a solid black. As you can see, the border is applied for this division tag, right? So margin followed by border is what we have in the box model. Okay, and followed by that we have something called padding. Okay, so padding is nothing but the inner part of the content space that we have. Okay, let's say we want this section, this text, or both of these text inside this border by not touching it. Okay, let's say we have to provide a lot of space inside. So we can provide padding followed by the amount of space that we want. Let's say we provide 100 pixels. See, it is separated in such a way that we have a lot of space inside this box model, right? So let's say we want to add margin also. We are adding margin followed by, let's say we have 10 pixels. So as you can see, this is how it's work. Okay, box model where we have margin followed by border followed by padding. Okay, and the innermost part of the box model is nothing but the content. So that's where we provide the height and width. So as you can remember over here, we used this image, right? We use this image, right? So let's say if we want to add this properties to the image, so let's use the coding part. Just a second. Yeah. Okay. Let's say we want to add the styling properties for the image using this box model technique, and let's say pixel. Okay. And let's say we want the width to be 500 pixels, a little bit bigger than before. Okay. So before doing that, let's remove the styling that we have provided over here. Remove this, and we will save this one and run it. Okay. So as you can see, the image is bigger now and followed with some spacing around it, right? So as you can see, the styling that we have provided in the coding part over here is displayed over here also. So if we try to use this developer tools, we can understand where and all we have provided border, padding, margin clearly, so that we can add test it over here as well. Okay. So that's it about box model. So I have provided some links for it to you guys. Okay. So other than this basic CSS part, we have something called grids as well as Flexbox. So as we have some time constraint, we cannot cover all of the CSS parts. So I recommend you guys to go through this links that I've provided in this slides, so that you'll understand better. And we have to, let's discuss for a few minutes about Bootstrap as well. And after that, we'll have some Q&A with you guys. Okay. So Bootstrap is a framework. Okay. So till now we have used a lot of code in HTML and CSS, right? So Bootstrap, how it is built is a bunch of developers has created a lot of coding files in such a way that we can use those this form over here. Okay, we have this form in this HTML, right? So, but as you can see, the styling is very poor in our website, right? So if we want to include a existing templates inside our own code, we use something called Bootstrap. Okay, so to add Bootstrap, just like how we were adding the CSS inside our HTML part, right? We used something called link tag inside the, just a second. Yeah. So we used something called link inside the header tag, right? So that's so also we have to add Bootstrap inside of, yeah, just a second. As you can see, if we try to copy this CSS link and add it on our website, we can use the properties that we have in Bootstrap framework directly. Okay, so I'll just go through the type of templates that they have. Okay, so as you can see, this is very looking pretty compared to our website, right? Just a second. So as you can see, this HTML form is very looking ugly, kind of not having so much CSS properties, right? So whereas as you can see over here, this neatly presented, right? So whenever we want to save our time and add this kind of code, we use something called Bootstrap. Okay. So I'll leave this resource as well. You can go through this. If we add this link in our header tag, right, we can use all of the properties that we have inside Bootstrap. Okay. We can just copy and paste it in our site and it'll work properly. Okay. Yeah. So I would like to give one advice to everyone. So practice a lot, okay? As we have named this event as a marathon, because it's not a sprint, right? You cannot learn it within quickly within a month or 2 months. So the more you practice, the more it will stick in the long term, okay? That's how you will be a better developer, okay? So yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you all for joining us. Yeah.
So I would like to thank Ashwin once again. And today, even the participants were explaining among themselves, like they were explaining the code to others who already
Very
know.
good.
And it was a very good session. People were giving you a lot of congrats for holding this session. We will share this link, right, with all of them. Some people were asking it.
Yeah, so I have provided this link inside this slides as well. I will share it with you guys. So you can sign up using your Google account or GitHub accounts. It is very easy. So
Everyone
yeah.
is very happy. Yeah, great session, Ashwin. Jaslyn, do you want to say anything?
Thank you all. Okay,
I
so
agree with you,
shall we have
Patrick.
some
Great
Q&A?
session. Yes, Ashwin. You took the things, you explained the things really well. I was monitoring the chat throughout. Everyone was really comfortable and everyone was helping each other, like Patrick said. They were clarifying each other's doubts as well, so that was really nice. Everyone's really happy and they're thanking you in the chat, so great job. And yes, we can take a few questions. You can either unmute. Before unmuting, please like drop in your name or raise your hand. And if you have a question, you can also type it in the chat. I will call it out and Ashwin will answer it for you.
Yes.
So if you want to unmute, you can raise your hand or give us a reaction, anything.
I have let them to mute, but do it one by one. Yeah, Amir started.
Yes. Let's start with Amir.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
evening, man.
Yeah, bro, I need a difference between a pixel and percentage for the image with
Okay, pixel and percentage. Okay.
example, live example. I am very confused about that.
So okay. So there are a lot more. See, pixel percentage. We also have something called REM. Okay, REM stands for a root element. So these are nothing but attributes. Okay, for each and every percentage that you give, like a number followed by a percentage or pixel. So it will differ accordingly. Okay, if you say, let's say, if you give 75 percentage, so it will only take the 75 percentage of the width and height that you given. You are using an image, right? So if you apply 75 percentage, if you have a width of 100 pixels, okay, if you have a width of 100 pixels, what
For
it will do?
percentage, it will take the screen size based on the screen.
Yeah, it will take based on the width or height. Okay, like the dimensions of the image that you use. Do you get it? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Thanks.
the difference. Yeah, if you explicitly give pixels, it will kind of fit it properly. Let's say you are using let's say you have a website, okay, and you are trying to add some video content, your own YouTube video, and you have only allocated 500 pixels. So in those cases, we use pixels as the property. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Hello, Ashwin. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I need to ask that as you said in the video that we can implement CSS in 3 ways: inline, external, and internal. So, which one is the best way to implement the CSS?
Okay, that's a very good question. Okay, see, the best way to do is external. Okay, why? Because let's say you have 1,000 and million lines of code. Okay, so when you have a lot of lines of code, what will happen? It will look very ugly, right? Your code will look very ugly. So when we use a separate CSS file and separate HTML file, we follow a principle called separation of concern. Okay, so this is a standard used by everyone. Okay, let's say you publish your website. So what Google will do when it ranks your website, it will make sure it will see whether you are following the standards. So the best way to use CSS is external CSS. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Ashwin.
We have Shrey. Shrey, you can unmute.
I'm audible?
Yeah.
Where I'm audible?
Yeah. Yes.
Shrey, you are audible.
You're audible, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, there are a lot of tags and headings. So can you please share the complete code once?
Sure, I will share the code as well as cheat sheets. Okay, so you can follow through the cheat sheet
Yes,
as well.
Ashwin, you can like give it to me since we
Yeah.
are collaborating all the material and we will be sending it out tonight. So along with the cheat sheets, the PPT and the code base, everything will be accessible to
Yeah, we'll
everyone.
circulate it.
Yeah,
Sure.
I want to the same code which the Shwin has written.
Yeah. It will be the
Sure.
same code.
I'll give
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. That's it.
Okay, guys. There are no more doubts. So we would like to wrap up this session. Tomorrow we will be meeting you guys for JS session, JavaScript session. We will cover it in 2 days because we don't want to hurry it up. And thank you guys again for joining us for today. And thanks to Ashwin again for clearing all doubts and explaining very well.
Yes,
Most
perfect.
welcome to
Thank you
join
so
you
much.
guys.
There are a
Extremely
couple
great,
of
yeah.
questions in the chat. I'll quickly just go through them for Ashwin so that he can see
Okay.
most of them are resolved by the students and the other participants as well. So just give me a minute, Ashwin.
I'm just happy that other students are helping out each other. You know, it's good.
Yeah, that's going on in the chat. I mean, I know you were presenting, so you wouldn't know, but yes,
Yeah.
that was going on. Okay, someone's saying there was one HTML file shared yesterday. Did you use anything yesterday? I'm not aware.
No.
No, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So someone has a doubt, like they want you to explain this particular tag. I'll just read it out for you. HTML lang equals to quotes open en and dir equals to itr. What does that mean?
Okay, that's a good question. I don't know about the second part. So this lang and dir is nothing but attributes. Okay. So whenever we have a tag and whenever we have to provide some properties, we use these attributes. Okay. So the lang is nothing but language. So as we can see, there are a lot of, if we take Amazon, for example, they have their own, we have our native language in India, right? They have launched in Tamil, we have Telugu, Hindi. So
Yes,
they have
right.
launched this websites in these languages. So to specify that, we use that lang attribute. So inside that, en stands for English.
Got
So
it.
that's what it is.
Okay.
It proves that we have used the entire content in English only.
Okay, Ashwin. Thank you. Next question is from Nitish. He's asking, are there any other HTML tags to add hyperlinks other than href? So is there any other tag that you can think of that one can use?
I think the most common, there's only one tag, which is anchor tag, a tag. Okay. So let's say we want to add a link to an image. When we click an image, we have to go to another website. There also we'll use a tag only. So a stands for anchor, right? So there's only one tag as of around, I think, to my knowledge, at least to my knowledge, only we have one tag.
Okay, Ashwin. Thank you.
Yeah.
Last question, I guess, it's from Arnab. He's asking, how can we add bootstrap with HTML? So I guess this you
Okay.
can take 10 minutes tomorrow and maybe show them
Sure.
quickly, right?
Sure.
I think verbally answering it won't be enough.
Yeah.
So maybe Ashwin will come in tomorrow along with Aniket. He'll just take 5-10 minutes initially and we'll show you how that is done so that everyone is clear on that. So let me, Ashwin, just allow me a minute. Let me go through the chat one last time in case I have missed any question. Okay, everyone's thanking you. Everyone's really happy. Okay, someone's
welcome,
asking,
guys.
after buying the domain name and hosting, where should one write the code? Should we write it in a notepad or should we use any kind of editors? What do you suggest?
Okay, that's a good question. Okay, so for your own convenience, you can use code editors. There's no standard like we have to use Notepad or code editors. So Notepad is good for practicing code. Okay, let's say I used a lot of spaces in between the tags, right? So that's a standard that we follow. Those are called indentations. So when we use an editor, it will directly use that spaces. We don't need to, when we press the moment that we press the enter button, it will directly give the indentation. So, and there are also a lot of tools that we can use inside code editors. So my suggestion would be to use code editors instead of Notepad.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
There's one more question: when to use HTML, CSS, and when to use tools like WordPress? What is your take on that?
WordPress. I think not sure about how WordPress works. I think they have a bunch of templates pre-installed, right? So we use to design it using drag and drop.
Yeah.
So yeah, my suggestion would be learn HTML, CSS because they are here now, right? So moving on, you don't need to learn the entire tag and entire properties only. You just need to know the basics and go through some websites. When you type in templates in Google, you will get a lot of templates created by other developers, okay, other designers. So you can use the design directly instead of using another hosting website like this. As you guys know, HTML and CSS, I would recommend to do that way. Use templates, pre-installed templates that other developers has shared in the internet. Yeah.
Okay, Ashwin, thank you. That was the last question. Thank you so much once again, and thank you for the audience. You guys were amazing. You stuck around till the end, and great job helping each other out. If there are no more questions, we would like to wind up for today. We don't want you to lose your focus, so we'll come back fresh tomorrow, pick up new topics, and have a great session, hopefully. All the material, all the recordings, everything will be shared, even the attendance links and a quiz will also be shared. So you can check out your, okay, there's some nice feedback for you, Ashwin. You can go through that in the chat. So yes, we will be sending you out the material, the attendance form link, and there is a small quiz as well. So you can attempt that, have fun. Attendance link is mandatory, like Patrick mentioned in the beginning. You have to attend 3 or more sessions to be eligible for a certificate. So don't forget to fill the attendance form every day. So this was day 2. And yes, thank you for attending. Thank you so much. See you all tomorrow at 6:30, same link, same time. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ashwin, once again. Really good session.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Ashwin is definitely the MVP. Yes, Brian, you're right. Thank you, everyone. Good night. Stay safe.